We've received a clear and a distinctive message on how Simon's judgment day would look like. We've received a clear directives on how Simon's case will possibly end on that particular day, and also the individuals who will be present on his judgment day. In this set video, we received a shocking document that has been released by the FBI documents on Balatunu when he had series of drug cases in Chicago back in the 90s. Yes, in this video you get to see for the very first time some documents linked and attached with Balatunu on his drug case. In this video, we have a very interesting news and update coming from Ngo Rao in collaboration with Dr. David Yonkirak Matsenga regarding the case of Finland and how they are prosecuting Simon in its facility. And as we speak, a lot of actions are currently being taken by some African countries regarding the way and manner Simon has been treated in Finland. In this video, we have an exciting and a good news coming from Abuja because as we speak, the federal government of Nigeria currently negotiating with Motsi Namdinu in detention. What are the conditions of this negotiations? Why is the federal government of Nigeria negotiating with Inamanu at this particular point in time? Well, you get clear answers in this update. Moving on swiftly, Mazdanu made a statement back in 2021 that has resurfaced, and the Nigerian's federal government has seen Masinu probably might be a prophet. Yes, this man made a statement back in 2021, and as we speak that statement has happened live before our eyes. Well, we also have an interesting news coming from Enugu State, Nigeria regarding Enugu Air and its operations and every other single thing within. Interestingly, we also received a notification and a speech coming from Reverend Father. He came out recently in one of his adoration services, and he made a statement regarding Motsi. And in this video, I'll be showcasing every single thing that has happened behind the scenes. Moving on swiftly, we also have a news regarding the individual who spearheaded the abduction of Mason Abdano from Kenya. An individual known as Abubakar Malami is the person who ran a full operation. And as we speak, this man is being prosecuted by some top bodies in the country. So the question here is, what has happened to the man who spearheaded Masinu's arrest, and what will happen to him in the future? Well, we have clear and distinctive info to share with you in this video briefing, and I'll urge you to watch it up until the very end because a lot of things will be shared, a lot of news will be disclosed, and information will definitely be discussed. Well, with all of that being said, let's kickstart this video in essence and showcase every single thing we have for you. Starting with the very first update, we have the case of Batunabu. Yes, as we speak, the FBI has released some documents that we all need to see and understand. Remember that on the 13th of April of 2025, a U.S. court instructed the FBI to release some documents showing right now on your screen. It's an article coming from The Punch, which state that U.S. court orders FBI DEA to release Tinubu's probe record. And according to this said article, these records are linked with Batunabu as the first individual. It's also linked with Lee Andrew Edwards, the man who ran a drug cartel in Chicago. It's also linked with Moise Ande, the individual Balatunu worked with, and Abiad Nagwil, the man who recruited Bola Tinubu into their circle. So these documents are linked with 4 individuals, and as we speak the People's Gazette has published and released this document showing right now on your screen are some of this paperworks and this document. This clearly shows the fact that Bakunu forfeited over $460,000 US to the government of America because those finances were heavily linked with truck transactions in Chicago at that particular point in time. But then as we speak, Balatunu is currently in panic mode. Yes, he's currently in panic mode because he visited Brazil to attend the BRIC summit. And in that meeting, many felt like that man was highly restricted because he was called upon to make a speech to represent Nigeria in the BRIC summit. Batten couldn't express himself properly. It felt like something was giving him a potential heart attack. Shown right now on your screen is a statement presented by Balatunu. And we take a look at the highlighted part of your screen. This man was called upon to make a statement on Africa and Nigeria and how the BRICS community can aid the economy of the country. This guy did not go straight to the point to talk about terrorism as the major factor preventing the growth and the development of our economy. What's showing right now on your screen is a statement he made, and take a look at the highlighted part. It states the president stated that environmental degradation, the climate crisis, and healthcare inequalities should receive more attention as they contribute to slowing growth and development. This guy is saying that climate change and healthcare inequalities are the major challenges Nigerians are facing right now. He failed to state corruption and insecurities. He was actually scared to say it because at this particular point in time, the FBI had released this document to the general public to see. And the president of Nigeria's name is highly linked with controversial activities in Chicago back in the 90s. Well, moving on swiftly, which other news do we have for you in this video briefing? Yes, yesterday in one of our publications, we made mention of the fact that Rao haven't been online for a couple of days and hours. But as we speak, this woman is back online, and she has resurfaced, and she came up with a banger. Yes, showing right now your screen is a statement coming from the Deputy Prime Minister which was released on her official Twitter page. It reads, and I quote, "Breaking Nigerians' membership of BRICS a dent on organization inclusion of confirmed presidential drug dealers in BRIC destroys the fundamental gains of BRIC. See attached drug case of Bola Tinubu." Scroll down to page for section 2. Nigeria would destroy any country organization that associates with it in any ramifications. It is a failed nation that with records of human rights abuses. This whole article went on and on. In a nutshell, she's calling out the president of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu, and also informing other BRIC nation that you see this man called Balatonu, the president of Nigeria. He's a drug dealer. Don't do deals with him. Don't strike any deal. Don't sign documents with him because he's also very, very controversial in nature, and his name has appeared on series of documents attached or released by the FBI, and this is coming from Anazi or Abu. Well, moving on swiftly, let's take a look at a massive and a gigantic news that came up from Abuja just recently. Yes, as we speak, the federal government of Nigeria has informed NAMU that we want to negotiate with you. We want us to sit down, strike a deal, and see the possibility of a peaceful resolution. Well, just in case you don't believe what I'm saying, showing right now on your screen is an article coming from The Punch. It treats FG willing to negotiate Kano's release. And this statement was made by Dave Umahi, who happens to be the Minister of Works in the federal government of Nigeria. Well, for a better picture, take a look at this article. It states, and I quote, "The federal government says it's open to negotiating the release of the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra in Namano, but insists it should not be used as a condition for political support." Minister of Work, Senator Dave Umahi, stated this on Friday night while addressing journalists in Lagos. Interesting, when you pay close attention to this statement made by Dave Umahi, you see that the government of Nigeria already are putting in terms and conditions. Take a look at this highlighted part of the screen state, but insist it should not be used as a condition for political support. So they're saying they want to release Namdanu, but you guys shouldn't see it as a condition for political support. This means that we're not asking you to support us after we release Namanu to you. It's going to be done in a free and fair manner. The only conditions or the only terms and regulations attached to this deal will be done between Ainamanu and the federal government. Yes. Showing right now on your screen are some conditions that will probably be stipulated by the Nigerian's federal government in the release of Namdanu. It states withdrawal or suspension of legal action. Yes, just in case you don't know, Mazenam Danu, even while at detention, filed series of lawsuits against the federal government of Nigeria, and the very first condition will be that you must drop all the lawsuits you file against us before we can grant you an imminent freedom. Showing right now on your screen are some cases Mazenam Danu has filed against the F. We all know that Mazen Danu filed the federal government a 50 billion naira lawsuit because of the way and manner he was kidnapped from Kenya, and that court case was dismissed on the 10th of April of 2025. But then Ainamano also sued the FG, the DSSG, and other political orders in the country for refusing to obey the Supreme Court, and that was done on the 11th of June of 2024. So, as you can see, the federal government of Nigeria will probably ask him to drop all of the charges he has filed against them before the conditions of his release will be probably met. But moving on swiftly, the federal government of Nigeria has seen that Mazinu is a prophet and probably he can see the future from a mile away. Why is the federal government of Nigeria making a statement like that on Mazinu? I'll take a look at this article showing right now on your screen that was published on the 4th of June of 2021. In this article showing right now on your screen, Mazzino informed the FG that some unknown individuals have been supplying arms and ammunitions to Fani bandits in the country, and this supply was done using helicopters. He also mentioned a particular helicopter that was used in the supply. But interestingly, as usual, the federal government of Nigeria did not pay close attention to what Maznamani was saying. Fast forward to this day and time. Nigerians have been wondering how bandits in the country managed to lay their hands on weapons without the immigration noticing the importation of these arms. But then quick investigations have been carried out, and they've noticed that helicopters have been used over time in bringing in arms into Nigeria, particularly into the northern part of Nigeria. Shown right now on your screen is a statement released by Vanguard. It states white helicopter supplies us ammunition in forest. And this statement was made by a bandit. And this came 4 years after Mazzino informed the federal government of the said issue, and nobody listened to him. They all felt like it was just a me propaganda. But now things are coming into fusion, and the federal government of Nigeria saying that probably might be a prophet or a man who can see a future or a soothsayer. We're moving on swiftly as we speak. And Go, in conjunction with Dr. David Yankurak Matsenga, has done something that will definitely shake the African continent, and it is currently shaking the continent of Africa. So the question here is, what have these two individuals collaborated to do? Well, for better understanding, take a look at this article showing right now on your screen, written and signed by Dr. David Yankurak Matsenga on the 6th of July of 2025. It reads, and I quote, "Call to action. We call on all Pan-Africanist human rights defenders and African communities in diaspora to boycott commercial products, services, and diplomatic engagement with European nations that sponsor or protect post-colonial oppression." Just in case you don't understand, Dr. David Matsenga is calling on all Africans to boycott goods and services coming from the EU from European countries that have failed to respect fundamental human rights of Africans and also act or play a role on post-colonial oppression as we speak. Some African countries have cut their ties with the EU, with Finland, with Ukraine, and countries within that group. Showing right now on your screen is a listing of African countries that have cut ties with the EU. The very first one here is Rwanda. We have Niger Republic. We have Mali, Kenya, Faso, and Gabon. These guys have cut off ties with the EU. They don't do trade anymore. They don't have any bilateral relationship, and there's no future way these countries would come back together. And this whole movement was officially kicked off by Dr. David Yankurak Matsenga sending a straight and direct messages to the EU and to Finland in particular on the way and manner they have treated African descent in their country. Well, moving on swiftly, we also have a massive news coming from Nigeria. We also have a massive news on Mazen Amdanu yet again. It feels like this week is for Mazen AMU, because we've been getting and receiving notifications on news regarding his case. Well, one of the exciting news we have for you is the case of the individual who spearheaded his abduction from Kenya. Yes, just in case you don't know, an individual known as Abu Bakr Malami spearheaded Nandano's arrest in Kenya. He also came out to say that yes, I'm the man who led the operation. I'm the guy who made the cause. I'm the man who ran behind the scenes and back-end dealings, and doing well. Showing right now on your screen is a picture of this man together with Peter. Oh. When you read the caption of this tweet, it states, "This is Abu Bakr Malami, who was actively part of those that kidnapped Manu in Kenya, tortured for 8 days, and then was extraordinary rendition to Nigeria, and has been in solitary confinement in the DSS dungeon." Well, showing right now your screen his full operations. Yes, just in case you don't know, this man Malami acted as the Atten General from 2015 to 2023. Malami publicly took credit for Kanu's arrest, stating it was carried out through collaborative efforts of Nigerian intelligence and security services and justified by a court-issued bench warrant after Kanu jumped bail. He repeatedly defended the legality of the operation, dismissing criticism from international lawyers as ignoramos opinions and emphasizing on adherence to domestic and international law. In June of 2025, the Kenyan High Court declared Kanu's abduction from Kenya an unlawful extraordinary redemption, explicitly implicating Malami in orchestrating the illegal operation, foiling demands for his disbarment, and the revocation of his son title. But then, as we speak, Malami is on a hot seat. He's on a tight and very, very discomforting position at this particular point in time, because a lot of lawyers in the country, a lot of us are calling for this man to be removed of this Brad as an ex-Attorney General of the Federation. Yes, just in case you don't believe me, or just in case you want to fact-check me, take a look at this article coming from Sahara Reporter. It states, lawyer Patrick Otzi demands disbarment of Attorney General Malami over infamous role in Namanu's extraordinary rendition from Kenya, and this was released by Sahara Reporters. This is massive. So they want to remove him as an Attorney General of the Federation because if you hold that position, it simply means that you are the principal legal officer who represents the crown or a state in legal proceeding and gives legal advice to the government. So you're the individual who gives legal advice to the government of a nation. So if you, an Attorney General, doesn't respect the rule of law, does not follow a fundamental right of an individual, and uses backdoor and illegal means to bring back an individual into the country, simply means that the whole system is flawed, and that is why they want to disbar him as an Attorney General of the Federation. This is a massive one. This is a very, very big one coming from the country of Nigeria as we speak. Anyways, moving on swiftly. We also have an exciting news and update coming up from Enugu State, Nigeria, because as we speak, Reverend Father Baka came out recently to give words of advice to Namando and to also pray for him. Showing right now your screen is a possible screenshot released on the 5th of July of 2025, where it states Reverend Father Mbaka continues to call for the release of Mazinu, says this is what the people want. Yes. And this was done during one of his adoration services held in Enugu State, Nigeria, where he was very vocal calling for the release of Mazinu and asking the federal government of Nigeria to see reason with him and try to strike a possible deal with him and make sure he's being released in the following days, or even weeks. We're moving on swiftly. Let's take a look at the most interesting part of this whole video. The reason why you're watching it as we speak. The Finnish authorities and the government has given a clear and distinctive pattern on how Simon's Judgment Day, or the final court day, would probably look like. Yes, they've given us a brief and a hint of how every single thing will play out on that particular day. And in this video right now, I'll be giving you a full summary of every single thing that you need to know and understand. And before we do that, if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please do well to subscribe and turn on post notifications because we always give you first-hand info and give you breaking news as it unfolds. Yes. So, by the end of this month, it is likely that Simon will face the Piame District Court for his possible judgment. Yes. And how will it look like? Well, let's start with the location. The location of this trial definitely will be at the Piame District Court situated in Latin. This is the said court that Simon has been attending over the past couple of months. Yes, he has been going to Piame District Court to receive or to possibly face his trial. So, how will it play out in the courtroom session? Well, in a Piame District Court, the judgment of Simon will be decided by 3 different judges. Yes, that is to say there will be a Judge 1, Judge 2, and Judge 3 that will look into the court's cases, that will look into the evidence presented, the conversations held, and the witness statement. These 3 judges will do their investigation, do their findings, and also go by the rules and regulations of Finland individually. No judge will try to influence the order. They have their individual responsibility, and it's going to be done in sections. Yes. So there are 3 different judges that will be present and run this full judgment. Well, let's start with the security structure on that set day. The security structure that they will be highly heightened security with armed police, plainclothes officers, and metal detectors will be placed at the entrance. The audience which will be allowed to come into that court's premises will be Finnish international press. Human rights observers probably from the USA, Russia, South Korea. Individuals and officers from the Nigerian embassy have been invited to come for the court's final day hearing, and also the IPOB supporters and opposition figures. We also have possible family members. Yes, his family members will be invited, that is his ex-wife, his younger sister, and his offsprings will be invited, and if they want to turn up, they are very free to show up. So these are the individuals who will be allowed into the courtroom session. Yes. Moving on swiftly when the whole court session kicks off, in essence, one of the judge 1, judge 2, or judge 3 will stand up or sit while sitting, give a full remark, and remind the whole courtroom session of the charges leveled on Simon, which involves incitement to violence, terrorism-related offenses, hate speech, or disinformation, and arms trafficking, or whatsoever. So these are the charges that the judge will introduce into the courtroom session. So once he's done with all of that presentation, he's going to make a long speech. He can make a formal speech in informing the court on how the findings we all done, how the court's proceedings and precedent has been created and marked for the future, and he can start with each of the charges.
Yes.
So the 3 different judges will give their verdict on the charges leveled against Simon. Take, for instance, on the case of incitement. The 3 different presiding judges will give their valid. One might say guilty, the other would say not guilty, and so on and so forth. That is how the 3 judges will unanimously give their verdict on all of the charges leveled against him. When that is done, they will have to sit together and come to a conclusion and come to a final verdict, which might or probably would have been done before the court session kickstart. So once that verdict has been done collectively by the judges, they'll give a final rendition. So if he's guilty, God forbid, it will be stated, and if he's not guilty, it will be stated, and he'll be free to go. But interestingly, once that is done, that is not even the end of the whole court session. Yes, that's not even the end. It's not close to being the end. Let's say, for instance, if the man is found guilty, which nobody wants. Simon have the right to appeal the decisions coming from the lawyers and the James Street Court. But for better understanding, take a look at this article showing right now on your screen, which states legal next steps. If convicted, Simon may file an appeal, which definitely he's going to file. A separate civil rights case may follow if there's proof of rendition related to violations or state misconduct. If acquitted, Finnish authorities may still monitor him under national security laws. And this is how every single thing will play out on that particular day, in a summary or in a nutshell.
Yes.
So, what do you think of the court process? Do you think it's too quick? How do you see the system where 3 judges will have to preside over the matter? Is this something that should be applied in the Nigerian's judicial system? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Well, moving on swiftly, have a news coming from Nigeria regarding ASU. Yes, as we speak, ASU has directed members to begin a nationwide strike. Showing right now on your screen is an article coming from the desk of the ASU, known as ASU in Nigeria. This article also gives us more clarity, where it states the leadership of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, known as ASU, has confirmed that a directive has been issued for all branches of the union nationwide to withdraw their services over the delay in the payment of June 2025 salaries to its members, citing the enforcement of no pay, no work resolution, and this is coming this morning, released by 7:00 a.m. this morning from the desk of ASU. This is a sad one, definitely, because our leaders, their kids, their offspring school in the UK, in USA, and other top countries of the world, they have their siblings, relatives schooling there. But in Nigeria, you can't pay your lecturers, and you have to wait until they chose to go on a possible strike. This is pure madness and shouldn't even exist in its first place. Well, moving on swiftly, while making this video, we received a notification from a news agency domiciled in India. Well, what has happened in India and how has it affected or affects Nigeria? We'll take a look at this publication. It states, and this is coming from the Times of India, it states Nigerian man held with this particular case in Mumbai claims innocence, says bag was planted. Yes, this article gave us more clarity, where state Mumbai, a 39-year-old Nigerian national, was arrested by the Woolly unit of the anti-Selk on Saturday for allegedly possessing over 200 g of this particular word worth over hundreds of US dollars. However, they accused the person of Frank Chubu's Nandi has claimed that that particular substance were planted on him and that he has been falsely implicated in the case. According to police, acting on specific tip-off, officers laid a trap near PJ Colony OM Vam Road in Malad and intercepted Nandi, who was reportedly carrying a bag. Upon searching the bag, police said they recovered over 200 g of that particular substance suspected to be this particular word showing right now your screen, which I cannot call out. Well, this is a sad one because this individual claims that the substance that was caught in his possession was planted. He had no idea on how it got to his bag. But then this is actually a very difficult case to deal with at this particular point in time, because for you to prove and state that that item was planted in your bag, you need the grace of God Almighty to help you. And this is a sad one coming from India regarding an individual who claims that a substance were placed or planted in his belongings. Interestingly, while making this video, we stumbled on an exciting news and updates coming from Nigerians, political saints affairs. Well, as we speak here, some week's name has been mentioned yet again in series of controversies within the Nigerians' political system. To the question is what has happened again in Yes on Week's case, and in his name we'll take a look at this update coming from the cable, where he state Daily Modu, Wick paid $30,000 per delegate during PDP 2022 primaries. The article states further that Daily Modu, a publisher of Ovation magazine and former presidential candidate, has alleged that Yes on Week Minister of the Federal Capital Territory paid $30,000 per delegate during the People's Democratic Party PDP 2022 presidential primaries. Modu and Wiki both contested in that primaries, where former Vice President Atiku Abubakar was elected as the party's flag bearer. Speaking on China's television politics today on Monday, Modu said, a former Nigerian president had warned him not to contest the primaries, citing the amount of money that Wiki was offering delegates. A former president of Nigeria sent someone to tell me not to waste my money on PDP primaries because Wiki had raised the stakes at $30,000 per delegate. $30,000 multiplied by 774 individuals. Well, this is massive. So the problem and question here is, why is this guy coming out today to make such claims? You did not report this to the media and to the press when you heard it. Why did you leave it up until 2025, 3 years later? This is a major problem with Nigerian politicians. They will get sensitive information, keep it to themselves, and say it when it is not even necessary, and this is a typical case coming from the lay model. We are moving on swiftly as we speak. Ibrahim Traore together with Dr. David Yona Masenga came together recently to make a declaration that will probably help Masinu and Simon in its detention.
Yes.
So the question is, what did Dr. David Warwick Masenga together with Ibrahim Traore planning at this particular point in time? Well, in a video released yesterday on this channel, we gave a quick and descriptive nature of this case and every other single thing within. In that video, you get to see the deal that is currently playing on behind the scenes and how Ibrahim Traore will probably seek the end of Simon and Nnamdi Kanu's detention in their facility. David Yunarak Masenga has officially written to the president of Burkina Faso informing him and also advising him on the case of Mazen Namanu and Simon, a man held in a Finnish correctional center, and as we speak, Ibrahim Traore will take decisive actions moving forward. In this video, we shall be giving you a detailed analysis of every single thing that's played out behind the scenes. In this said video, we have a new reportage regarding a lady known as Oluchi Hika, who claims to be the younger sister to Simon. Yes, just in case you don't know, sometime last week, a lady popped off from nowhere and she claimed to be the younger sister to Simon. And as we speak, we have more info and more clarity regarding this lady and her relationship with Simon. Moving on swiftly, you also have a massive info and details coming from the USB lobbyist in the person of Elias Gerasilis. Yes, Elias Gerasilis came out recently to make a video addressed to all US and to Ngo Rao directly. This man had a lot of things to say, and in this video we shall be discussing every single comment he made in that video revelations. But moving on swiftly, we also have a massive news and updates coming from the country of the USA, the most powerful nation of the world. As we speak, Elon Musk, the richest man, has done something that would shake the president of that country in the person of Donald Trump. So the question here is, what has Elon Musk executed that will probably shake or threaten Donald Trump? Well, in this video, you get your answers. Moving on swiftly, a top goalkeeper in the footballing world has done something nobody expected him to do. Yes, a goalkeeper who plays in Italy has done something that will definitely shake you. This man made a tattoo to recognize the BIAFRA people. Who is this goalkeeper? What is this tattoo, and how it recognized the USB nation? Well, we'll give you more info and clarity in this case. Is moving on swiftly as we speak. The president of Nigeria has enacted a rule or a law that might send all Nigerians to prison sooner or later. Yes, Tinubu has enacted a law or rules that will be very, very strict in the online space and in the cyberspace. What is this rule, and how will it affect individuals? You get clarity in this video revelation. And as we speak, it feels like Ngo Rao, the Deputy Prime Minister, is inactive or probably missing because the last time we heard from her or saw her online is a couple of days back. What is currently happening to Ngo Rao? Well, we did some research and you'll get a couple of answers in this video briefing. With all of that being said, let's kickstart this video with the case of Anazi or Abui. Yes, as we speak, the Deputy Prime Minister of the movement has not been online and nobody have seen her in the past couple of days. The last time this lady came online, or the last time she posted, or the last time she came up to give a public briefing was on the 5th of July of 2025, which happened to be a Saturday last week. And to this day and time, we haven't seen or heard anything from her. But then there's something you need to know and understand. The USB lobbyist in the person of Elias Gerasilis has filed a lawsuit against this woman. Is there any connection between the lawsuit and the disappearance of Ngo Abui? The fact is, nobody knows for sure. It is very possible that maybe she took some time off Twitter and off the internet to maybe rest and focus on her professional duty. But it's still very, very possible that the lawsuit filed against her might be the reason why she's not too active on the online space. Yes, as we speak, even Elias Gerasilis has been on the neck of Ngo Rice. Couple of days back, this lobbyist Elias Gerasilis, a man appointed or selected by Simon, is doing something nobody will ever expect. Well, for better understanding and for a clearer picture, let me give you a clear description of what is currently happening. Show you right now on your screen is a tweet coming from an individual known as Ben. He states, and I quote, "Self-destruct Beprans, there's the need to listen to the video of the BRGI lobbyist again. It is the exact mind of just recent cool data JAS against the office of the PM BRGI presently in functioning capacity of the APM BGI." Well, just in case you don't understand what is currently going on here, there's somebody known as the APM, the acting prime minister. That individual is known as Onerai, and Elias Gerasilis together with Amander are close friends, a close ally with Owen and Kiri. And these guys are stating categorically that the body the USB created by Rao isn't legal. It is not the legal faction of the BIAFRA government in exile. They're claiming that the movement created by Rao is illegal and should be scrapped off, and that is why they filed a lawsuit against her and every other individual and officer holding positions in that movement. And as we speak, Ngo Rao is yet to respond. She hasn't been online since on the 5th of July of 2025 Saturday, and today being the 7th of July, she is still not active. Well, the moment she comes online, and the moment she drops any article, we are going to definitely make a video for you to see and understand. So do well to subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on our videos. Well, moving on swiftly. A lady known as Oluchi Eka came out recently. She came out last week to claim that CI and the sister to this man held in Finnish custody. His younger sister, and I need to sign documents in his favor, or on his favor. Yes. Just in case you don't know, the PJ District Court needed a close family member of Simon to sign documents. And the individual who came up to stand as a close family member was this lady known as Olui. And as we speak, we've received very, very little info about this lady. First thing first, they claimed that Olui Eka lives and works in Abuja, Nigeria, based on some articles written about her. So she lives in Abuja. She works in Abuja, and she lives permanently in Nigeria. So the moment she noticed that her brother needed a close family member to sign some documents on his behalf, she had to travel and stand as a family member so as to possibly process his bailing conditions.
Yes.
Just in case you don't know, there are very high possibilities that Simon will probably reunite with his family members this week.
Yes.
Because the Biamd District Court is looking at a possible bail. We're moving on swiftly. We also received the news and updates coming from the most powerful nation of the world, America. Yes, as we speak, the richest man of the world, Elon Musk, has done something that will definitely shake Donald Trump one way or the other. So the question here is, what has this man done? What has Elon Musk executed at this particular point in time? Well, to get your answers, show you right now on your screen is an article coming from a news outlet in the USA. It states, "To give your freedom back, Elon Musk officially launches new political party, names it America Party." This publication went a step further to give us more clarity. Elon Musk, a former ally of the U.S. President Donald Trump, announced on Saturday that he has launched a new political party, America Party, aimed at challenging what he called America's one-party system. The tech giant Elon Musk's decision to announce America came a day after President Trump signed the One Big Beautiful. Musk, the world's richest man and formerly one of Trump's biggest donors in the 2024 election, had a public falling out with the president after spying efforts to cut federal spending and reduce government jobs as head of now-defunct Department of Government Efficiency. This is a massive one, and we can't wait to see how Elon Musk will operate and spearhead this new political party moving on forward because this guy has the finances. He has all the monies in the world. He's the richest man in the world. He has the connections. He has the audience to make this happen. And this definitely will be a threat against Donald Trump going on to the future and moving on. Well, as we speak, we also received a notification from a group in Nigeria. This group came in together collectively to make a statement regarding Namanu, a man held in the DSS facility. So the question here is, who are these individuals? What is the name of this group? And what are they saying about Kanu? Well, for a better clarity, take a look at this publication coming from the Guardian. It states, and I quote, "San urges FG to resolve Kano dictator's cases through arbitration." Yes, just in case you don't know what San is the senior advocate of Nigeria, and these are top individuals in the legal sector in Nigeria. These guys have come together collectively to ask the president of Nigeria to please release Namano. Yes, release him and resolve the case you have with him through proper arbitration while respecting his fundamental human rights. Yes, this article also went the step further to give us more clarity.
States.
A senior advocate of Nigeria, Muhammad Indarani, has urged the federal government to adapt alternative dispute resolution methods such as arbitration, cancellation, mediation in resolving the case of Namanu and other political agitators as a means of fostering national unity and reducing rising political tensions. And this, like I said, it's coming from Muhammad Indarani, who is also a member of the Sun. This is a nice and mercy one. We're moving on swiftly. We also received a news. We saw a picture, a photograph of a Nigerian goalkeeper who plays in Italy paying homage to the BIAFRA people. Well, just in case you understand what I'm saying, take a look at this article. It stated, and I quote, "Breaking Maduka has a tattoo to commemorate the BIAFRA War of 1967 to 1917. We Igbo always feel the pain of the war, and showing right now on your screen is this tattoo that conveys the message of the USB people. When you take a look at the lower neck area, you clearly see 1967 to 1970, which, like you all know, is a significant year to the BIAFRA people. Yes. This man known as happens to be a Nigerian.
Yes.
He's a Nigerian who plays for a football club in Italy known as Udinas.
Yes.
And this is a massive one coming from a guy who lives in Italy, who plays in Italy, and who operates from that part of the world. Anyways, moving on swiftly. Let's take a look at a very, very exciting news coming from Uganda. Yes, just in case you don't know, a human rights activist known as Dr. David Yoner Matsenga, the same individual who filed a lawsuit against the country of Kenya and won in favor of Amanu. This said individual has met or sent a letter to the president of Burkina Faso in the person of Ibrahim Traore, reporting the Nigerian government to him and showcasing every single thing that has happened behind the scenes in the case of Anami and Simon. Yes, just in case you don't know, Dr. David Yoner Matsenga and the president of Makina have been in contact. They have exchanged documents. They have exchanged parcels, and they've exchanged different scripts regarding the African continent. Sometime last month, Dr. David Yoner Matsenga sent the very first batch of documents to the president of Burkina. So showing right now on your screen is a clear confirmation that these guys have kept in touch over the past months. It states, and this is coming from his Africa World Media TV, a media outlet owned by Dr. David Yoner Matsenga. It states, and I quote, "Dear His Excellency President Ibrahim Traore of the Republic of Burkina Faso, as a member of the African Union, we wish to inform you that we have submitted soft copies of our petition concerning the 2035 African Union Commission AU elections to the African Court on Human People's Rights, of which Burkina Faso is fully ratified member. The hard copies are en route via DHL, and this is the very first time Dr. David Yonamathinga sent Captain Ibrahim Traore some document. As you can see, these two individuals, these two African champions have been doing a lot for the continent, and that is why Yonamathinga has officially informed Captain Ibrahim Traore about the case of Ainamanu and Simon, individuals held in different correctional facilities in Nigeria and in Finland. And as we speak, it seems and it feels like the President Teso will take actions in the coming days. And we can't wait to see how all of these things will unfold. And if you want to get first-hand info as it plays out, do well to subscribe and turn on post notifications, because we'll give you all of the latest info and latest articles that you all need to see and understand. Well, moving on swiftly, we have a news coming from Nigeria that will send a lot of shockwaves into the hearts and minds of many citizens. Yes, as we speak, the president of Nigeria has enacted a new and a very, very surprising rule or law that might put a lot of Nigerians in trouble. The question here is, what is this law? Well, take a look at this article coming from the Vanguard. It states, and I quote, "Cyber Crimes Act in force. FG issues strong warnings to internet users." This article also went a step further to give us more clarity. The federal government has officially or formally enacted the cyber crimes in prohibition, prevention, etc. is an act into full force, making all its provisions legally binding across the country. The announcement serves as a strong warning to internet users, content creators, and digital platform administrators to acquaint themselves with the law and ensure strict compliance. Well, just in case you don't know how strict these laws would look like, showing right now on your screen are some samples that you definitely need to pay attention to. The very first one is tampering with digital data. It states altering, deleting, or interfering with another person's digital files or information without lawful authority is not punishable by law. The penalty is up to 5 years imprisonment. The second one here is a disclosure of critical infrastructure information. It states, sharing classified or sensitive government or national infrastructure data with unauthorized individuals constitute a grave offense. The penalty is up to 15 years imprisonment. And the third one here is recording private conversations. Recording conversations without proper authorization, even as a participant, is deemed a violation of privacy, and it has its own numbers of years in prison. And this is a new one that has been released or published by the federal government of Nigeria to crack down on internet users and its citizens in general. This is a very, very strict one, and I will advise every single person to read up on this new law so you don't fall a victim in the future. Well, moving on swiftly. We also have a news and updates coming from the current FCT minister in the presence of years. This man came up a couple of hours back to openly criticize and call out Peter Obi. Yes, the FCT minister isn't playing around. And in a video we received showing right now on your screen is a screenshot of this video. Here some week openly informed Peter. You see, you will never become the president because your time has passed. You will never become the president of this country. You don't even have the structure. You don't even have the tools and the mechanism to even be close to be a second contender. Your time has passed, and I advise you to just give up your quest and ambition on becoming the president of this country. But as usual, Peter Obi did not even respond. Peter Obi did not even throw back at the FCT minister. He did not even reply, and Peter Obi will definitely use his actions and reactions to reply in the coming days and in the coming months. But then, interestingly, we saw a video that went viral on internet where individuals from Benue State are currently installing different banners in different campaign pictures of the ADC in their state. As we speak, residents, citizens, and indigents of Benue State have come up collectively to raise structures, to raise banners, pictures of the ADC, a new coalition where a lot of Nigerian politicians have newly joined and will try to contest against the All Progressive Congress in the next elections that will be held in 2027. Well, showing right now on your screen are some screenshots of individuals taken from Ben State. As you can see, these guys are not playing around this particular point in time. The All Progressive Congress are already campaigning for 2027. And that is why the ADC have to sit up. They have to be on their game, put up their best behavior. And that is why they're creating this new coalition right about now, which is gaining strong momentum in all part of the country, from the north, east, west, south, everywhere in Nigeria. Now this ADC are penetrating slowly. Well, We don't know how all of these things will end. We don't know how the elections will look like. But the next elections in Nigeria will be a very, very fascinating and interesting one. Yeah, that's for sure. We know. Anyways, moving on swiftly. In a video released a couple of hours back, we noticed that a prophet in Cameroon came up to give a clear and distinctive statement on how the case of Simon would end and probably look like.
Yes.
In that particular revelation, he claimed that Simon will change Nigeria. First of all, he claimed that the Pami District Court will not sentence Simon's going to gain massive freedom and the courts will acquit him of all charges. The second thing is claimed that top governing bodies of the world will meet Simon to have conversations with him, to have to strike deals with him on how they will probably take the USB movement and the government to a next level. The said man of God also issued a strong warning to Boladanu, claiming that Simon, a man that you don't like, is a man that will probably lead to your end. Yes, that video happens to be a very, very interesting video where this man of God from Cameroon made a lot of fascinating statements and a lot of revelations that we all need to see and understand. His words were very clear. His decisions are straight to the point, and he claimed that Simon will definitely turn the country around because a top world body will strike a deal with him in the coming months. We don't even know when this month will come. We did not state when and how. He just claimed that Simon first will not be charged.